Hello and welcome to the EXL Monthly Podcast. There's a hell of a lot that's been going on in the gaming industry at the moment, from broken servers through to secret press conferences. Sony and Microsoft seem to really have the gossip wheels turning at the moment. But before we get into all of it, let's introduce everyone, with each of you giving us a brief rundown of what your role is at EXL and what games are captivating you right now. Starting with you, Jay.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Jay from Drop Dead Interactive. I guess my role with the EXL is the resident developer, and I'm also a regular on the awesome Dev Workshop podcast.
And what games are you playing at the moment?
I'm currently the last game that I had booted up was the new Walking Dead Michonne. Yeah, I've been having a little play of that. Haven't played too much of it because I've been a bit busy as well, working on some of my own stuff. But I've been playing a bit of that, a bit of FIFA, and what else have I been playing? Those two are the only ones that come to mind at the moment.
Awesome. How about you, Ken?
What's up, everybody? It's Ken, also known as Digital Falcon. I am a writer and streamer for EXL Magazine. EXL Gaming. I'm so used to saying magazine. I'm also on the Developer Workshop podcast, and the games I've been playing are, attempting to play Street Fighter V online. I love the fighting mechanics in that game, though. I've also been playing a little Rocket League, tiny bit of Blaze Blue.
If that's what you call playing, but yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, fully. Let me not say that. And Trails of Cold Steel for PS Vita. I just turned that on a little bit, or got into it. Not much. I'm not that far into it, but I like it so far.
Awesome. Jonathan, Mr. Flackfire.
Yes. So my name is Jonathan. I'm on YouTube under Flackfire there, as Bella mentioned, but a senior writer for EXLgaming.com. Trying to think of the games that have been interesting me lately, and we'll get to it here, but I am a fan of the Battlefield series, and Battlefield 5, interesting rumors out there, which we'll get to eventually, but that's all I'm going to say right now.
Nice. And last but definitely not least, Aussie Gamer.
G'day guys, Wes here. I'm the official janitor here at Gaming. Look, I probably do the least amount of work. There's no question about that. In terms of reviews, I think I've done one, and maybe a couple of videos, and kind of the ring in for podcasts and things like that. So I try and do my best, but probably never do enough. So there you go, Bella. Look, the other thing is, in terms of games, on the Xbox One, I'm playing Fallout 4. I think I've just capped level 50, which is pretty awesome. On the PlayStation 4, I've just finished Klaus, which is pretty cool. But the game that I'm loving, that I'm not allowed to talk about, is Trackmania, which is currently under NDA. Yeah. So that's a pretty cool little game.
I'm right there with you on that one. I want to talk about this. I want to get people excited, but that pesky NDA.
Yeah.
Anyway,
at least,
you're allowed to say positive things about most games and NDAs, and the fact that Wes and I are busting to be able to tell people about this game should give you some really positive feedback by itself without us actually saying anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've got it down for something to talk about today, but games that you don't really have massive expectation for, and then they just blow you away. They're I like Klaus, the game I reviewed for EXL. Like that was a phenomenal little game that I just, in all honesty, I expected it to be absolutely crap. Like, just not that fantastic. And it turned out to be just like a big, a hot pocket of joy. It was fantastic.
Did you just say you expected a game I gave you to be crap? Do you think I'm going to give you crap games? Nothing but quality. Nothing but quality.
There you go.
Dear.
That's me. That's me in a nutshell. Also known as Aussie Gamer, but you can call me whatever you want.
Well, this morning when I thought you weren't going to make a podcast, I was calling you all sorts of things.
This morning when I thought there was a podcast, I was calling you all sorts of things.
Yeah, I bet. Well, that's what you get for self-inflicting that stuff on yourself. Anyway, without chucking you under the bus any further, let's move into our first subject matter for today, which is, are gamers getting too little and paying too much? Now, everybody knows the prime example that we're going to use for this, and I think it has been done to death a little bit, but that's because it is such a brilliant example of where we're scared games might be headed in, the direction that developers are starting to take things in. And obviously I'm talking about Street Fighter V as our main example. Now, before Ken jumps into the, dives in front of the Street Fighter bus to, protect it, we knew full well going into that game we weren't getting service until March. Not service, but online lobbies. We knew that wasn't coming. So we knew that we were going to be able to at least play against our friends, we were going to be able to play the story mode, and we were going to be able to train. So people went and made that purchase knowing that that was what you were getting, and that's fine. If that's what you got, because that's not what you got. Effectively, what you got was a glorified training room. You couldn't play the story mode for the first couple of days because your single-player campaign has to be online to be able to play. You couldn't play against your friends because you couldn't get on the servers. For the following few days, you were lucky to be able to complete an entire match in these small pockets of time that the servers were online. I was okay with getting effectively what we're, tagging half a game, because they told me up front that that was what was going to happen, and I was like, you know what, that's okay. But it's not okay when you can't play even that half a game. Over to you, Ken. I know you're bossing. Get it out.
To be fair, the server issue and the content issue are two different issues, and people are blurring them together. And like,
the content because of the servers.
Huh?
Not if you can't access that content because of the servers.
Oh, you mean the, like story mode and stuff like that. Well, actually you can. If you play in offline mode, you can play survival, you can play the story mode, and training, of course. You just have to be in offline mode. But it did suck how if you were online during, the time the servers were acting up and you were playing on those modes you were playing by yourself on, that it would kick you out of that mode. Yeah, so I do understand that. But, yeah, it is what it is with that. It's like.
So, do you think that people who bought Street Fighter V should feel like they were justified in the $60 they paid for it?
It's hard to say. I mean, it depends on the individual. I'm a Street Fighter fan. I saw what I was going to get before release, and I bought the game. I paid the $60 for it. I guess to somebody, maybe the more casual audience that doesn't follow what Capcom says, online or in blogs or on Twitter or whatever, they may not feel justified based off what Capcom has provided in past entries of the game.
I mean, if you walked into a GameStop today and you picked up Street Fighter V, fan of the franchise, holy crap, there's finally another installment out in the game, you took that home expecting to be able to play with your friends, only to find out that there are no online lobbies, that the servers barely aren't working, that even if you wanted to be able to be in a party with your friends and be online and go through the story mode, you can't do that either. Would you be happy with that?
Hold on. First of all, there are lobbies. It's just that it's not 8-player lobbies. It's 2-player lobbies.
It's 1v1. You can play against one person, and that's if the server stays alive long enough to actually get to the end of the match.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that, but
and your expectations.
Yeah. No, cause she said there's no online lobbies. I'm like, wait a minute, you gotta be careful with saying that, cause technically there are. But
yes, okay. To specify, you can play 1v1. There's no group lobbies.
Exactly. Street Fighter 4 didn't launch with lobbies. In fact, Street Fighter 4 didn't get 8-player lobbies till like over a year later. And according to Capcom, we should be getting 8-player lobbies relatively soon. I believe next, was it in March? March to June. So I would have to see where it goes in order to say if I got my, my $60 worth. If they're telling us lobbies are coming that quick, then okay, fine. Wait till when they say it comes out, and we'll see. We'll take it from there.
Well, I'd look at it as, were you promised that from the start? Is it something that it's like, this is coming, or, does it say on the box, 8-player lobbies?
No.
And if it does, then, they should be held responsible for that.
That's the thing. Everything that's the content that is available for the game now, they told us. They said everything that was going to be it. But the people that are upset are the people that didn't read. You get what I'm saying? Like they didn't see what was going. They didn't read what was going on. They didn't do research or whatever. Those are the people that are upset. So it's like Capcom told you what the game was going to be like. So it's kind of on you for going out and buying the game and then being upset.
Hang on. When did it get to a point that gamers have to read up on every single thing about a game and be 100% educated about every tweet that the developers have ever sent out for them to be feeling like they are educated enough about the purchase they're making? Like, when did it get to the point where that's necessary for every single gamer to do that, for them to not be upset when there's something that's not included in the game that should have been a stock standard edition, or when their servers are down constantly, or they're being taken offline indefinitely for maintenance? Why should gamers have to be tied to a Twitter account to be able to get this information? Like, why are games coming out so broken? Why are they not coming out complete anymore?
Yeah.
And why are we paying full price for less?
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Like, why are gamers, why are they doing this? I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not trying to justify Capcom's actions. I'm just saying that they did, in fact, it is written down. It was written down before the game came out that the content that was available at launch was going to be there. That being said, the reason why gamers are paying more is, they want to. Simply that's the reason. It's like.
But I don't think it's a case of people want to pay more. I think it's a case of you either pay or you don't play.
Well, that's partially true, and what it comes down to, everybody complains year after year. Oh, Call of Duty is coming out, and it's going to have the season pass, and they didn't give us this, but it's going to be with the season pass, or this is going to be downloadable content, and people whine and whine and whine about it, and they pay for it anyway. And that's what it comes down to. So when Activision, Blizzard, when DICE, when EA, when any of these places decide what they're going to put out as part of their game, they look at the bottom line. Has the bottom line gone down? No. Then we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to keep pushing that so that we can increase the size of our bottom line. It's how far can we push these people before they don't buy it anymore. And me, for the longest time, I think this year was the first year in, I think, 2 or 3 years that I actually bought a Call of Duty because I refused to buy it over the past couple iterations because I felt like not everything that was supposed to be there was there. And we're talking about this, and we're talking about connecting with these developers and listening to what they're saying on Twitter and staying informed about these games. These are things that people don't even put this much effort into voting when elections come around. They don't go around and figure out all the details on their candidates and this and that. They're like, well, I like this person, so I'm going to vote for them. That it's sad, but that's exactly how it is.
Yeah, absolutely correct. What a lot of people fail to realize is that developers are providing a service, and if that service is flourishing, then why would you change the formula? That's the whole point, is to make the money. So you're gonna do what's working. So as you say, if no one's changing what's going on by not buying these DLC packs and games that don't do anything, that just rehash off the previous version and stuff like that, But it's, you know, why would anyone want to change?
Well, and you know, we might be seeing some of that pushback here. I know there was a lot of complaints about Star Wars Battlefront and their season pass and how expensive it was compared to this other stuff, and I don't think it's selling that great in terms of there wasn't that much there in that base game, you know, before they introed the season pass and downloadable content.
That's one game. It needs to be across the whole board. Because, you know, Star Wars Battlefront, you see it as, you know, oh, it was a thing to tie in with the movie, blah, blah, blah. But then you're still going to be seeing it with, you know, what's it called? The new Battlefield's probably going to be the same. The next Call of Duty is probably going to be the same. You know, Destiny when that comes out, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And it's the same as what there was an article saying that the Division is not going to have microtransactions and stuff like that. And that's exactly what Destiny said. You know, get everyone on board. I'm going to introduce it anyway.
That when I see it.
You know, so it's a case of, you know, they probably thought to themselves, wait a minute, why are we not doing microtransactions? You know, people are going to buy it anyway, and then they just bring it straight back. So, you know, if people really did not want it, they wouldn't have purchased it, and then they would have been like, oh, damn, we really should have reintroduced this, but people will buy it anyway.
I don't think it's the concern is whether you know, it's a product where people want or not. Like, obviously it's a product that people want, and my issue with it is that we're starting to see more of a trend coming out, and it's not across the board yet, but I think that it is going to be across the board very soon. I mean, even Call of Duty, who for years now have included the season pass in the hardened edition, removed it from the hardened edition. The only way you were going to get that season pass was if you managed to get one of the rarer than hen's teeth Juggernaut Fridge editions, which actually had the season pass in it, or if you bought it separately, which effectively ended up costing you, I think, from like previous hardened editions, you ended up paying like an additional $15 than what you would have normally if it was bundled in with the hardened edition. People are, these companies are like tearing apart every little bit of anything that can be sold and like just selling everything separately. You know, there used to be a time where you would actually get a lot more value for stuff, and these days what we're seeing is how can we make the most amount of money off this? And yeah, I understand as a business that's what you want to do. That's your goal. Your goal is not to be a charity. Your goal is to make money. But you also Bella, have to be providing a service to the people who are buying it that is fair.
I think
but
that's true,
look at this, yeah. I'm a big fan of Snickers, yeah. When I was a kid, you know, buying a bar of Snickers, the small size one, you know, you got so much, or even things like Cadbury's celebrations and all that kind of stuff. You buy the same, what do we call it, size now, and well, the box says it's the same size, but when you look inside it, it's got a lot of space for where the Switch used to be, and you don't see these companies going out of business, do you? You still see people buying the stuff. So this is exactly what's happening with, you know, DLC. The game is just getting chopped up into pieces, and then you know, they're gonna just keep. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, let's try this. Okay, oh, that's working. Yep. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Okay, oh, how can we filter this even more? You know, and stuff like that. So
Jay, you're actually cutting out a lot there at the moment.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Jay, you're actually cutting out a lot at the moment.
I think it's actually changing people's behavior too, though. Like, if I look at the way I buy games, I'm not as enthusiastic to go out and do the pre-order thing anymore, or buy it on day one if you know, I know it's going to be discounted in the not too distant future, and that seems to be what's happening as well. Start high and then come in and discount to a ridiculous level not too far after launch.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And
yeah. You cut in and out a little bit there too, but yeah, I got the gist of what you were saying.
Okay.
Everyone's having technical difficulties at the moment from the sound of things.
Bill, you said like things are starting to turn around, like people are starting to wake up to it. But aren't these DLC packs making more money than ever? Aren't these guys?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like people, they're still buying it in large amounts. That's why they keep doing it.
The people that are being more vocal are people like yourself and myself. You know, the people like it's really weird how us as a group we know so many people like on within this like Twitter, YouTube space and stuff like that, but there are millions of normal people that don't do podcasts, don't do YouTube, Twitter, stuff like that. These are the people that are going out and buying, the DLCs and stuff like that. So where, we may seem like a little army of people saying, no, we're not going to do it, we're not going to do it. We're just a fraction in a bigger pond, let's say, so, it's not slowing down.
Is it just on my copying out for everyone?
I think it's just on your end. I'm able to hear him pretty clearly.
I can hear him.
Yeah, I got him too. And I'm on mobile.
Oh, okay. Sorry to talk over the top of you, and Jay was like, you like completely cut out. You did this to me last time too.
Yeah, you just don't like me.
All right, so basically, I'm not okay with it. I'm not happy with it. I don't think that this direction that it's been taken in, where every single little piece is being pulled apart and we're being charged every single penny, is absolutely necessary. I think that there should be a baseline of money that should be expected to be exchanged for a product, not how can we tear this up, give you less on disc, effectively, and get.
Would you be happier with
it's
higher
the
prices?
content in DLC, making half the game effectively DLC through season passes and DLC packs and microtransactions, all the stuff that should have been in the game. We're going to tear that out. It's going to end up charging like twice as much as what you paid for the game to begin with. I'm not okay with it.
Isn't it ironic, though, that the game that people seem to be leaping on is the game that the company that developed it told you exactly what was going to be there day one? I just find that funny. I'm not defending the game at all. I'm just like, where is all of this outrage?
Yeah, but they also told me I'd be able to jump online with that game.
Well, that was a different. That's a different issue, though. That's the servers being down. Which, yes, that pissed me off more than anything.
A part of their product is me being able to get online.
Well, you can get online now, though. You know what I'm saying?
How many days later?
You were able to consistently get online 2 days later. Yes, you had to wait after you fought somebody. You had to wait like 40 to 50 seconds. That I did experience. But if you're talking about the server issue, which is a separate issue than the content, then yes, the game was beta tested 4 times, and they still couldn't get that right. Yeah, I'm upset at that.
Well, and I don't think it's fair to say the server issue is separate from the rest of the game. It's part of the whole experience. It's like if I had Call of Duty and they're talking about chopping up Call of Duty between a multiplayer and single player component. If I buy Call of Duty and I want to play online with my friends and against other people, and I can't do that on day one, your game's defective. And
well, I agree with you.
Be held accountable for it.
I agree with you on that. If the game is defective, then yes, people are entitled to their money back. I personally, that's what I believe. But the issue of the content, if people are upset about the content, even though they told you exactly what was and what wasn't going to be in the game, that's kind of on the customer. Now, I'm not making excuses. You had games like Battlefront which people thought had, no content and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to, clarify, the different parts of this whole Street Fighter V thing. That's all I'm doing. I am not defending Capcom at all. But I'm just clarifying things. Cause
I don't know, Ken. It sounds a lot like you're defending them.
Why would I defend that, though? Wait, what part of that is defending them, though? I'm just.
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
And to a degree, he's right, because just like what you're saying about Battlefront, people listen to reviews and stuff like that, and a lot of the reviews said Battlefront had hardly any content, yet people in droves still went and bought it, and then said the game has no content. You watch the reviews, you watch loads of other people say, the game isn't great, it's pretty, but has no content, yet you still bought it, so that is on you. And that's more or less what he's saying with Street Fighter. they told you that it will not have this, it will not have. When me, I pre-ordered Street Fighter because I grew up with Street Fighter. I love playing those type of fighting games and stuff like that. I heard what was going on with it, so I stopped my pre-order, and then I can buy the game in a month's time. I don't really play online with Street Fighter. I play single player and I play with my friends and stuff like that. But I'm not the best online player at it, but I will play friends and stuff like that. So therefore, playing in a month's time when everything's working and everything's sorted and stuff like that, I'd rather just wait for that. A lot of people, they just buy games, they pre-order them, and I don't even get why they pre-order them. The game isn't going anywhere. Most of these games are digital, so you don't have to get it as soon as it strikes 12 o'clock.
Yep.
Well,
you can't conflate the servers being down with the content. You just can't. Those are two different problems. But I understand the frustration that everybody had.
But you really can, because if you can't access content because of the server.
People would have had problems with Street Fighter if the servers were working just fine. That's the content issue. Even though people should have read that, but I'm talking in circles at this point. So.
And I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, because I honestly believe that the server issues is just as important and as pertinent to the content as the content itself is. If you can't access some of that content because of the servers.
Oh no, it is. I'm not saying that one is more important than the other. I'm just saying that there's separate issues. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you to the point that it frustrates customers and it's not right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I agree with.
I want to chime in here on something that I think is really, really interesting. But we're talking about customer frustration. And it is real interesting if we take a step back and we look at the field of video game developers and we say, who is recognizing that customers are frustrated with this, with how this system is set up, where we're giving them money, we seem to be getting less and less back. Like you guys know that I'm the #1 champion of Fallout 4 and all things Bethesda, but I think it's real interesting to see that there are some companies out there who seem to be tapping into that frustration, and they are building fantastic relationships with their consumers. And Fallout is one of them. Bethesda, even though there was a lot of debate, it's like buy the season pass sight unseen, and now they're coming out and saying, oh, we're going to raise the price of the season pass, but if you already bought it, you're going to get everything. Which I've got my opinion on that whole thing, that we're going to see 9 chunks of downloadable content instead of what has been done in the past to 5 or something along those lines. But doing free updates, doing all these other things with the game, and giving you little bits here and there just because, and it doesn't cost them a lot of money to do that. But we as consumers over here, we're so desperate. We're like, please, sir, I want some more, and. They go and they throw a little piece of bread into the cup, and we'll fight over it, because that's how I don't want to say like deprived we are in the sense of content with a lot of these games, but I just think it's real interesting to look at the developers out there who are realizing that and are capitalizing on it by saying, you know what, it doesn't really hurt our bottom line that much when we're talking about building relationships with our consumers.
What do you think about the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, I think when you're saying, some of these developers are realizing that and stuff like that. A lot of it is smoke and mirrors. Let's take the PlayStation for example. They saw how Microsoft messed up, and they capitalized on that by saying, "Hey, we're not going to bundle this. We're going to lower it. We've got a lower price. We've got this." So then they look like the winners. They look like they're doing it for the players. Then they get all of those people, and then it's like, okay, now you've got all these millions of people. Where are the games? Stuff like that. But they've already got the money, so they've already done stuff like that. So when you get some of these developers but are saying, oh, come buy this game because we're giving you free this, free that, blah blah blah, they're making their money from somewhere. No one just gives away things for free. Like there's always an agenda behind it. So like I say, a wolf in sheep's clothing. So
well, as far as where are the games, I think Sony did deliver. As far as amount of games, I'm not going into the size of games. I'm not going to get into that discussion. But I think they did deliver on that. But yeah, because that's weird. I don't understand. Like, they sold that console because gamers want games. At the end of the day, and it's been proven throughout history, you can have all the features you want, all the bells and whistles on a console, the add-ons. At the end of the day, even backwards compatibility is small time compared to games, and that's what they delivered on, as far as that goes.
I'm not saying that they don't have I'm not saying that they don't have games or whatever. I mean, that wasn't the point I was trying to make. It was more to do with someone seeming like they're doing a favor for the customers or whatever. But obviously, yeah, they do have a bunch of games, but depending on who you are, then you're going to say, okay, all of these games are trash because you're someone that says I do not play indie games or whatever, blah blah. And that actually brings me to another point. When you talk about content and stuff like that, a lot of people, they're paying out all this money. The title of the thing is, are we paying more money for less content and stuff like that? Some of these games, that you're not going to get as much gameplay from. What you know is you're going to get fancy looking graphics. Cameos from rich people that add nothing to the game, and stuff like that. But then you've got these smaller titles which they bust their ass to get that content in there because they want you to feel like they've worked their butt off to for your money and stuff like that. And people still complain about paying $10 for indie games and stuff like that, even though they get an abundance of entertainment and stuff. But yet everyone's still fast to bring out $60 to pay for these games that have just not been delivering. So
what you got to do is look at the repeat offenders, the guys that are starting to chop up games like Square Enix. I'm looking at you,
Yeah, so, well, that's just like a whole other topic because stuff is just like ridiculous.
Yeah, they're going crazy with that.
Well,
and that's actually
Let's have an issues.
My thumbs are lagging big time today. I'm about a second delay behind you guys for some reason.
What's the alternative though? I mean, we could all just pay more.
That's really odd.
What was that?
The alternative. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Wes. What was that?
I was just saying, what's the alternative to developers chopping up games? Do we just all want to pay more? Like $59 is the same price in the US that you guys have been paying for years and years and years. So, is the alternative that they raise the price to $79?
Well, we're actually, if you go by inflation, we're actually playing less for games now than back in the day.
And I would have to argue that the quality of games today is substantially higher, even on the indie front, than it was 20 years ago.
Definitely.
Very true.
I think the consumer rejected the notion of paying more upfront, even though I'd rather pay more upfront than to get games chopped up and all that. For some reason, if somebody sees, oh my God, $120 for a game, they're gonna flip. They're gonna flip tables. But if they buy a $60 game and see DLC that's like $40 or $50, it's like, it's a mental thing. It's all, yeah.
Well, it's that much easier to consume that way when it's broken up into those little bite-sized pieces. You spend, especially with microtransactions, you can spend quite a bit of money and not even notice it, and that's by design. That's not on accident.
Yeah.
Well, I think this episodic sort of content mode now is also very interesting. We've seen it with the Telltale games, and obviously now it's coming into Hitman. It'll be interesting to see if that, as a trend, takes off for the wider gaming development sort of model going forward.
I can understand it with the Telltale games because, I mean, maybe not so much Telltale games, but at least Life is Strange. Sometimes they would have fleshed out that they're going to have these 5 parts of the game, but they may not necessarily have developed everything within the other episodes. And that's how sometimes they won't tell you when it's coming out because they may still be tweaking it or whatever. So, I mean, well, this is what I believe anyways. Maybe it's just a marketing thing. I do not know. People do things for so many different reasons. But, you know, some of these episodic ones, I sometimes feel that it's a case of they still haven't, you know, finished those later episodes and stuff like that. But in the case of Square Enix, I just see them as such a big company that I just don't get. You know, it just seems weird that they're doing this whole episodic thing. But maybe there's something behind the scenes I do not know.
I think it's an experiment more than anything, though.
Yeah, and
to see how much they can get away with.
Well, and remember, this game was delayed, and now they're putting it out episodically. I mean, that I just look at that, I'm like, they're having serious issues getting this out the door. And
no, I don't believe that. I think they know exactly what they're doing. That game, they know exactly how they want to make it, and they're chopping it up to see what they can do. It's an experiment. You know, that's what they're doing.
But I find it a lot easier paying like $15 or I tried to convert the money over so you know you guys know what I'm talking about. But let's say for example, Life is Strange is probably about £12-15 or something like that. I find it a lot easier paying for the whole season of that, knowing I'm gonna get these 5 episodes of this smaller title, than paying $60 on an episodic AAA game. Like it just seems weird that I'm paying all that money up front and I do not have no clue as to what the hell I'm getting. And it's like these season pass games. Like you're paying money, but they haven't even told you what's in them. It's just like, give us money and we'll give you something back. We don't know if it's going to be good, but just trust in us. And it's like, hell no, you're business, you want money, so trust me.
I do like the idea though of like paying for say part 1 of Hitman and then having the ability to play it and then figure out, do I really like it or don't I like it? Then I can make the decision to purchase the rest of the game or go, you know what, I'll just walk away at this point.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, that does save you paying the full price for a full game if you don't like the art style or the narrative or the direction that you think the game's heading in. If you don't like the controls, it's like it's kind of like what they're doing with Black Ops on Steam at the moment. So they've broken that up into a multiplayer only purchase for $14.99. You can't prestige, you can't use the blacksmith or any of the that really cool sort of added multiplayer content that's there. You're just getting bare bones multiplayer, but it gives you an opportunity for that $15 to try like what is effectively the main part of that Call of Duty release and say, do I like this game's mechanics? Do I like the futuristic style of it? Yeah, I can see how that is beneficial.
They should do that on console because that is all I want. I don't care about the black market nonsense. I don't care about prestiging. I just want to shoot some people online. I'm not.
And I think that will
there,
happen in the future.
Because I've been saying this for ages. I've never played the single player. I just don't have the time. I don't find it interesting. All these stupid cameos. I just find it ridiculous. Like I see these people on TV. I don't need to see them in my games. So it just does not grab me when they say, "Oh, this person is in it. This special person wrote the story." And stuff like that. If I want a story-driven game, I would buy a proper single-player story-driven game, something like Tomb Raider. Where it's like you actually get engrossed into the story. Something like Call of Duty, the story is to me is just always nonsense. So.
I don't agree with you, but we'll be here for an hour if you get me onto Call of Duty.
I haven't bought a Call of Duty since Black Ops 2, and I returned it in 3 days. I was like, yeah.
You returned Black Ops 2? Oh my god!
The net code was trash. I just couldn't do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
We are talking about Call of Duty here, so
Don't even come up in my podcast me talking no trash about Call of Duty.
Yeah, we
I
can.
will if it involves the Call of Duty netcode.
Call of Duty netcode is trash.
Alright, before this completely gets sidetracked. So at the end of the day, basically everybody's general feeling is that, yeah, we're not entirely happy about why this is happening and how they're going about it, but we are just going to continue to pay for it anyway.
Well, I always try to be that person that is like, no, I'm not going to buy this because I disagree, how this game is made conceptually, or I disagree that they're doing this. Like, I will not support that, but the thing is, maybe 1 out of 100 people or 1 out of 1,000 people will have that same attitude that I have of like, I'm not going to do this because I think it's wrong, and then there are the other 99 people who are like, I think this is wrong, but I'm still going to do this, and it's hard. But I mean, if I looked at it and if I was in the shoes of a developer, I would be looking at all this frustration that gamers have as a golden opportunity to make some money, build some relationships, and increase your market share. Like, I would just look at it like that and say, that is a field ripe for the picking there if you position yourself properly as a developer.
This is the thing. Number one, most developers always have a publisher that is, funding their games and stuff like that. Publishers aren't, a lot of them aren't sort of on that level of, hey customers, how can we do better type thing. They're feeding a board, of people like profits. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about getting money back to the investors and stuff like that. So yes, it would. It seems like it makes sense that you would say, okay, this person, a lot of these people are down on blah blah blah. How can we make it better for them? And at the end of the day, the investors don't care about that. Some rich guy sitting on his yacht ain't gonna be caring about it. He just wants to get his money. So, it's not really gonna be changing anytime soon, to be honest. Unless people dramatically just stop paying for things like DLC or just because look at the Xbox One. A lot of people stopped the pre-orders. There was all this ranting on the internet. Even though it might have been like 100 people or whatever that went crazy with it, but because the internet thing spread, so that message got out to millions of people, and they had to change because so many people got wind of it that it started affecting the pre-order numbers and stuff like that. And obviously, a lot of these pre-orders is a way to gauge how much interest there is in something. So if suddenly no one pre-ordered Call of Duty, they're gonna be like, oh, we need to do something, but that's not going to happen. Most people have like an auto pre-order on Call of Duty every year. It's just a thing they do. They play Call of Duty FIFA or Call of Duty Madden, and that's it. Like, it's crazy.
Another thing to add to this, like I noticed even like in the community where the hardcore guys that mainly don't like these type of transactions and stuff like that. Everybody hates them until like then their favorite video game franchise gets it, and then it's like, like what do you do now? Like Final Fantasy VII is going to be split up into parts. Like I hated the practice, but now I'm like, oh my god, that's my favorite. Final Fantasy VII remake is going to be split up, and it's like, shit, I gotta buy it anyway, because I'm a fan, or like.
I understand exactly what he's saying, because as soon as I saw the game, Final Fantasy VII was one of those games that really changed a lot of things for me in terms of how I looked at games, looked at story and sort of like, because for me it was quite an emotional story and stuff like that, and a lot of things they did was quite amazing at the time. And when I saw that they chopping up, I was like, man, what the hell? But part of me is like, I still need to get this game. I can't boycott this game. You start putting it on a pedestal, but then that's exactly what people do with every single franchise. They say stuff when it comes to their game, just like you said. they suddenly change their mind. But I don't know. The fact that I don't have much time anyways these days, so getting a game as soon as it comes out is just not a priority for me anymore. And you can always find a bit of a bargain and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
maybe that's
one
going
of
to
these
be.
days you don't want it day one. Because you know it's not going to work day one. You're going to have that big day one patch, and lucky if your servers are working day one,
Like-
so you don't want it day one.
Like, Belle, what would you do if, let's say, the Fallout franchise got split up?
I would probably cry.
I'm pretty
Laugh.
sure that
All social medias that I could get my hand on.
I'm pretty sure the actual Armageddon would happen as a result.
Yep.
And then I'll just, I'll just live action RPG it. It'll be fine.
I'm just, you
I
know
don't
what?
pay for that.
Never say never, though. Never say never, because Final Fantasy VII getting split up like that threw me for a loop. So I mean, it's tricky, It's a tricky situation. But
Yeah, if Bethesda do that to Fallout, I don't know. It wouldn't be good. Like, you would hear, like, you think I'm whinging about Street Fighter? That is nothing. That is nothing. I could have a 4-hour podcast on my own about my feelings on why Fallout should not be broken up into episodes.
Fallout would be a hard one to break up anyway, just because of the nature of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you started like basically sectioning off areas. Like when you got open world games, they can tend to be quite tricky. So is Hitman open world? Because if it is, that's
it's supposed to be like one. Actually, I don't even remember the. I was never a Hitman guy. I don't even care about it.
Yeah, I left Hitman quite a while back. Probably like two versions back, because it's got like the same sneak, kill. It just wasn't. But yeah,
chipmunk costume, sneak, chipmunk costume, kill, sneak.
Yeah, so but yeah, I think an open world game like Fallout that is like that's got so much that you can do. It would just be so hard to section that off. I mean, with Final Fantasy, it's not so hard because if you remember, a lot of it was on multiple discs. So they may section it up in that sort of way. When you get to certain places, then it's sort of like, oh, okay, that was episode 1 type thing, and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we've pretty much covered off on that. I mean, it's a subject matter that we could keep going on about for ages. It's just one of those things where there are so many different things to take into consideration that, I mean, maybe we just want too much. Maybe we expect too much. Maybe we're being too demanding. Maybe it's on us. Who knows? But the only way we're going to make a difference if we are strongly against something is to vote with your wallets. So if you don't agree, don't buy it. Show them that you don't support the direction that they're taking things in. So, to move right along into something that's a lot more exciting than spending money on things you don't feel you're getting value for, Rocket League on the Xbox One. It's amazing. Who's playing Rocket League? Hands up. Digital hands up. Who's playing Rocket League?
I've been playing Rocket League since the game came out on PS4 last year. Love the game.
Yeah. And as I said to you before, Bella, I got Rocket League for free on the PlayStation. I just can't justify buying it on the Xbox One.
Which is the same. I mean, I understand it's not everybody's cup of tea. For me, I bought it on both platforms, and if I have friends that are playing it on the PC, I'd probably also buy it on the PC. I love the shit out of that game.
I can see the fun in the game, and I definitely think it's something that you have to play with like your friends and stuff like that. But it's just not one of those ones where I would initiate wanting to play it. And I went into a party chat with some friends the other day, and they were all playing it, and you can kind of just sort of see, like, I could hear the fun that they were having with it. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I could buy this, but then I was like, I have it for free on the PlayStation 4, and I've never played it apart from that one time with you, Bella. And even then it was just like, I don't know, it just didn't feel that great. Maybe because we weren't playing like a proper match against another team or whatever. But you know, like I was even looking at it before I was coming on, you know, to this show. And you know, I'm just looking at it, I'm just like, yeah, I can definitely see what's fun. You know, you're looking at around and stuff, and you can, you know, putting in the different car models and all this kind of stuff, and just the wackiness of it, and it's so simple to get the grips with. Like you literally just drive the car in and whack the ball into the goal and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The concept is just crazy, but you know, so I can definitely see why a load of people like it. But I'm just one of those kind of people that if I don't like a game, I can't play it. So there's no point of me.
That's fair enough.
You know, trying to pretend to myself that you know I like it. Yeah, and it's just not for me.
Dang, man, I don't know, man. That's blasphemy to me, man.
Just talking about Rocket League now, it's like, can I quietly play some Rocket League in the background while we're podcasting? Probably not. No, I love Rocket League. It's just such an ingenious concept that was started off as something so simple that they've been able to continue to build on and build on and build on and build on. I mean, you've got the Batmobile DLC coming out for that really soon. I've already said I will be buying that DLC both on the PlayStation and the Xbox One. I will be making a double purchase on that DLC. I don't care how much it costs me. I need that Batmobile in my Rocket League life. But an interesting thing came out of a live stream that the guys from Psyonix were in the other day, is that they've now exceeded $70 million in revenue from the Rocket League franchise, with over 4 million copies sold, and that does not include any of the copies that people got on PlayStation back in July last year. 4 million copies, and they're going to go physical. We can expect a physical copy soon.
That's huge.
Yeah, Rocket League should be the new world sport.
You know what Rocket League needs? And I'm being serious about this right now, and yes, a lot of people are going to throw up, but Rocket League really needs to make its way to VR.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to suggest, you know, live action Rocket League. I'd watch that.
Rocket League. Well, Rocket League, yeah, Rocket League the movie or something.
Yeah.
But Rocket League VR would be incredible. Psyonix, if you're listening, come on. That would be insane. Like people would throw up from that game. It'll be.
Well, something that I was saying.
Could work.
Sure. Something I was just saying to Ken is that you know, people get this idea that the fact that Rocket League, they say it's an indie game and stuff like that. They get this. I don't know. They must have in the back of their mind that it's a couple of guys working in some small, tiny office, or maybe even in their bedroom and stuff like that. But if you just go to the Psyonix webpage, you'll see some of the games that they've worked on: XCOM, Enemy Unknown, Mass Effect, Gears of War. You know what I mean? There's quite a few games that they worked on. I'm not saying that they create the originals or whatever, but things like DLC and blah 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 and stuff like that. So they're not like a small amateurish team. They're, you know, we've got developers on that team that are, you know, that know what they're doing and stuff like that, and obviously, you know, got some good game designers and things like that. So, you know, it's, you know, I just find it funny that people they go, oh, they made 70 million, which is totally awesome. You know, I mean, I would love to have 70 million in the bank. But, do you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It's just that misconception when people hear the word indie. You know, like, I mean, I use the word, you know, and when you sort of put art, you know, my Double Interactive and Psyonix together, do you know what I mean? We're miles apart in terms of accomplishments and, you know, level of skill and stuff like that. And, you know, so I just find that really strange. Like, and that's why I think when we say they brush off all indie games, it's stupid, because, you know, there's different levels. Just like with AAA games, you know, you get some AAA games that come out and they're like hot garbage. You know, they don't even look like they're a AAA game, but they get a label because they've got a publisher and they had a high budget and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, people should just do their homework sometimes.
Yes, agreed. Good luck with that, but agreed.
Yeah. Won't get into
All right,
that.
well, I'm thoroughly impressed with how well they've done. I'm looking forward to everything that comes from Rocket League on both platforms. I'm probably going to play some after we're done here. I'm not going to lie.
I think you might have an unhealthy relationship with Rocket League.
It's not unhealthy. It's good. You know, the funny thing is, though, is like, so anybody who I meet when I join my friends, and they've got other people in there in the party, and they're like, oh, you know, this is Belle. I'm like, oh, hi, how you going? My standard question is, so what was your favorite game of 2015? And you have a bit of a conversation. And then we get into Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
I like turn into the Hulk. I am a completely different person. Like, damn, this woman's competitive.
Yelling my ear, about to blow my eardrums out. Nah, but it's very fun. It gets a lot of heated battles on there.
Mm-hmm. Like yesterday when you stole one of my goals. Don't think I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stole that. You didn't need to steal it, but you stole it anyway. Never going to forget it.
Yeah.
All right,
that
so
was funny.
let's move straight on because we did spend a lot of time on that first subject matter, so I'm going to start moving us through them a little bit quicker. Predictions for the reveals from the Microsoft event. Now, obviously, we're not going to hear anything for like 3.5, nearly 4 more days since they've got everything on lockdown so that all the media and press and everything can go play all the games and write their reviews and so forth. But what is everybody's big prediction on what they think is going to come out of this?
Microsoft are going to buy Steam.
I've heard that rumor going around.
Wait, buy Steam?
Yep.
Ha 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 ha.
Nah, partnership.
It's possible, but yeah, I would say partnership more likely.
Yeah, I don't think Valve are going to hand over the reins completely.
No. Yo, can you imagine the meltdown?
Oh, it'd be huge. The internet would collapse.
Yeah, it would break. It would just. Oh my lord, I can't even imagine that.
Maybe they've grabbed all of the people from the last major meltdown that happened after Quantum Break, and they have all of them in a room for 4 days, letting them cry it out and get it out of their system before they announce it. Maybe that's why there's a press.
I find it phenomenal that absolutely nothing is leaking out. Like, I have not seen anything at all.
Yeah, they're doing really well, unfortunately.
I know, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I will just keep my fingers crossed that this whole thing is just a big lead up to the announcement of Iron Brigade 2.
Iron Brigade 2. Oh, that's awesome. Well, it looks like there might actually possibly be a small leak that has come out about a game that's in development from a studio called Black Hive. They make the I think it's called Chibi chain gun franchise. Halo as a platformer.
Boo.
Would anyone play that? I don't know that I would play that.
No.
I have not bought a Halo game since like Halo 3, I think.
Halo died to me when the Covenant started speaking English.
I don't know that I would play a Halo platform. I mean, I'm being presumptuous. There's no doubt I probably will end up playing it, but it's not something that the concept of jumps out at to me as, oh my god, this is amazing, I have to bookmark this, and not sold on the idea of it. I don't think that that's a place that Halo should go.
Yeah, there was that Spartan Assault game or something, wasn't there? That kind of...
Oh, it's so bad.
3D, I don't know what it was, but that wasn't amazing, but I guess, you know, it's the cash cow for Microsoft, isn't it? Why wouldn't you milk it?
Well, that's right. You know, stick a Master Chief sticker in anything, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's the
And then
MS
obviously...
way.
Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say the other main rumor that everybody's been talking about at the moment, and I don't think that it really should be classified as a rumor because it's obviously going to happen. It's just common sense. Is the keyboard and mouse, the gaming keyboard and mouse compatible for the Xbox One? Obviously, that's going to happen with the crossplay. We know that you can already use a standard plug-and-play keyboard and mouse on your Xbox One, but you can't use it for gaming. So, it's obviously happening. I don't think that should be put under the rumor category anymore.
Yeah, Universal Apps is confirmed as well.
Yeah, which I think is amazing. I think that is fantastic. I am the kind of person who will quite regularly be switching between, because I use my big screen TV for my monitor for not only gaming, but for my PC. So I'm continually switching between the two to do sometimes the simplest of tasks. To know that I am soon going to be able to get a keyboard and mouse for my Xbox One, and I'm going to be able to do everything on my console. I'm happy with that.
No, I agree.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would love the idea that all of my Xbox games, whether that's the 360 or the Xbox One, with this whole cross-buy, cross-play thing, hopefully, and the integration of backwards compatibility, they go, everything you own in your Xbox library is now available also on PC. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, and vice versa too would be really nice, because there are some games out there that I don't really game on PC because I don't have that nice of a PC, but if somebody gave me something, or to be able to play that on Xbox One, that would be real cool.
I agree. I'm the same. I would love to be a PC gamer, but I'm not. I'm a console gamer. That's what works for me. So I agree. Having access to a broader Steam library on the Xbox One, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, for me, gaming on the PC now, I don't really feel like there's any difference between playing on the PC to playing on the Xbox One. I have a standard desktop Acer PC. It is nothing special. But it runs a lot of games that I never thought it would run, and because I can use my controller with the majority of these games, it's no different a gaming experience for me than if I was playing on my console.
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta disagree on that.
Have you been playing Windows 10 games on your PC and on your Xbox?
I haven't played Windows 10 games on my PC, but playing on PC, I mean... Hang
on. Before you go and put yourself under a bus, which I'll have to run...
No, I'm not going to put myself under a bus.
I disagree about my statement about it being any different from the PC to the Xbox One when you haven't played on the Xbox One.
Hold up. Relax. I'm about to get at you. On PC, you're running at a much higher frame rate. Well, if you have the cards to back it up. Playing on
Correct,
PC.
But I just got through telling you I have a standard Acer desktop. I don't have a great computer. I just told you I've got an Acer desktop.
No, I understand that, but if you had a more powerful rig, the comparison is night and day from PC to...
How is that a relevant argument to you disagreeing about my statement about my experience on my Acer desktop and my Xbox One, though?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just telling you what is.
You literally started with I have to disagree.
I'm just stating what is. Like, it's... Like, there's no comparison. I'm just saying. And I'm not a PC mustard race guy. I'm not even like that. But I'm just stating what is. That's all.
So what do you think we're going to hear out of the presentation then?
I'm going with some type of partnership with Steam. I don't think they're going to buy Steam. That would be... I don't think that's going to happen. And Universal Apps was confirmed, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, that doesn't count then. I say a partnership with Steam. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I don't really. Who knows? I'm like,
well, I mean,
we'll see.
I know that the main focus of the event from the Microsoft side of things is meant to be more on the actual games as opposed to the hardware or the infrastructure. So I think we're going to get a flood of gaming information. Poor Flackfire and I are just going to be like writing our little asses off all day on March the 1st.
Pretty much.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Pardon me. And over to you, John.
I mean, I would say that the announcement is probably going to be based on, Steam and a Microsoft partnership. Maybe some more details on the next Halo game.
Yeah, right. You think they're going to release more details of the next Halo already? That's interesting.
Hey, I don't know. Halo the RPG.
Along with the
Open world Halo.
The iOS game,
Halo.
the platformer that they're developing.
That's Halo. What are we at now? 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another Halo.
Hasn't mattered to me in like
I've got
a
a
decade.
feeling they'll keep Halo quiet until at least after Gears launches. I think it'll be Gears. Once that's out of the way, then they'll go Halo.
Yeah, they're not going to want to take any focus away from either of those two, because I mean those are the flagship franchises on Xbox, and they want both of them to have their big days in the sun. They're not going to do anything to diminish that.
I think the other thing that might come out of this is DirectX 12 and exactly what it means for Xbox One. They've been teasing what it does or doesn't mean for a long time, and they're touting Gears of War as kind of this showcase of the graphical power of the Xbox One. So here come the marketing terms, but it should be interesting to see exactly what DirectX 12 means on Xbox One with Gears of War. So,
Indeed.
time will tell.
Okay, just a disclaimer. I am, the thoughts of what I'm about to say do not reflect the thoughts of everybody in this podcast. I believe it when I see it. I've been hearing so much about the X12 this, the X12 that, blah, 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 blah. Stop, please. What new experiences are we going to get with the X12? You can't answer that question. I don't want to hear anything about it. Because I think but they throw out DX12 and it gets the fanboys going crazy, rah-rah, jumping up and down, and then it's like nothing. And relax, And didn't Spencer say it won't do that much for the Xbox One anyway?
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be a tune-up. It's just going to allow for a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that and a bit more power coming out of here, which in the end opens up doors to developers to allow them to do more with what they're making. So that is going to end up, it's not going to be something that we're going to see instantly. There's this huge big change across the board. There are some games that won't change at all because they're already maximized to the point that any power improvements that DX12 will bring along is not going to improve how that game looks or runs because they're already maximized out. But then there are other games that can actually take advantage of the improvements that will be available, and you will see a change between them. But this is going to be a staggered thing. It's not something you're going to see overnight and just wake up and DirectX 12's here and everything looks amazing. No.
But I thought
I agree. I just want to see them, show me the money. It's definitely time to, show me what it can do because I've heard all the talk. Yeah. I want to see it. So put up or shut up at this point.
Yeah, it would be nice to see more clarification.
Maybe we'll see a Major Nelson retirement ceremony.
Oh my God! Why do you like Major Nelson so much?
Wow!
Too soon?
Too soon. Leave Major Nelson alone.
Come on.
I
don't want to hear anything more about it until something concrete, some numbers. I want to see numbers. I want to see it. Stop talking about it because it makes you sound like I don't know, like you're trying to prop up something that's not there. Like to me, that doesn't rub right with me. So.
Similar to that greatness that's awaiting. No, I'm joking.
Greatness.
I'm joking.
Greatness.
Yeah, no.
For anybody listening, I do have a preference for PlayStation. I do enjoy PlayStation, so I play around with the console war stuff. Like I had fun with that. I enjoy it. I don't go too far. But
for the PlayStation, he hasn't even touched an Xbox One.
I touched an Xbox. I just didn't touch the Elite controller yet, but I touched an Xbox One, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, before this is going to turn into a console war thing, and I hate that. So let's move straight past that.
Mhm.
We actually had a question submitted to us by Hamish, who would have liked to have been here in the chat today, but he's busy. So he forwarded this question to us, which is, do we think that VR gaming will overtake console gaming in the near future, with it being more affordable as of late? For example, with the new Samsung S7 bundle, which comes with the Gear VR headset.
No.
No. And
No.
here's why.
I don't either.
Okay, here's why. The thing is, VR, it's an accessory you put on your head at the end of the day. Like, that's not going to be more adopted than controllers, you know, like just sitting down in front of your TV. Will it be bigger than it ever has been? Yes. But will it take over? Not by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Have you seen like footage of people in their lounge rooms with VR headsets on? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but it is compelling enough that people that do try it, I think they will be believers, but I don't think it's gonna overtake, you know, the current console, you know, or the current medium of, you know, sitting down, having a controller in your hand, and looking at your TV to play a game. I don't think it's
I
gonna
mean,
take.
a lot of the VR games still require you to use your controller anyway, and like you stated to begin with, I think people are concerned that VR's come in and take over the modern day console is what we've been used to for the last 15 years. They're not realizing that these are actual peripherals that work in conjunction with the console. The console's still required. Like, it's not ever going to replace the console. It's just like your 3D TV. You have your 3D TV sitting in front of you, and it is a much more immersive experience than just your standard TV. But how often do people sit there and watch TV in 3D?
I think the one big question that's still yet to be answered is what's the price of Sony's VR? Because if it's in line with the Oculus or the Vive or whatever, then it's not going to take over anytime soon. I mean, they're out of reach for the average console gamer, I'd suggest. But if Sony comes in around the $399 mark, that could shake things right up.
Yeah, and that will be a day one purchase for me. If they come out at between $300 and $400, I will have that on day one.
Yeah.
So will I.
But if they try and charge me the same price as a console for a peripheral to use with my console, I'm going to be waiting.
Can you imagine the people who get this day one, take it home, set it up, and have motion sickness? There are just going to be people puking all over the planet.
Yeah.
Well, they got the frame rates to a level to try to mitigate that, like to get rid of the motion sickness. I mean, when I was at PSX and I saw all the people online, the 2 and 3 hour lines, I mean, I didn't see anybody get sick, so I think they got a handle on it.
I've not even tried one, but I'm just sort of anticipating that's what it'll do.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to be.
There's always going to be some group of people that is, physiologically incompatible with VR.
Mm-hmm. But I think just like when you open up the box of a game and it says, warning, this game may cause epilepsy, I think it's going to be the same case. That yes, there's always going to be a subset, a small group of people that are affected, but I don't think it's going to hinder VR, in any in a way that's going to hurt it or anything like that. So.
And I must admit, I'm more excited for VR from a total entertainment point of view than just gaming. Like the ability to immerse yourself in a movie or something like that. I think that's hopefully the direction it heads into, as opposed to just gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you imagine using VR for things like nature shows, like going to bottoms of oceans and deep into jungles and into caves and skydiving and things like that? Those experiences will be amazing.
Yeah, that especially combined with the 360-degree view type stuff. If they're able to tie it into that would be really, really neat.
Absolutely.
The cameras for that are they're plummeting in price for these 360-degree cameras. So the future's, we're on the cusp of that, definitely.
It's exciting. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited.
I'm excited with the caveat, I don't want to pay $1,000 for it.
I'm excited, but not that excited.
I'll pay. It's worth it.
You'll pay, but
so
when you come back, which leads us into the next thing, when you come back, it's probably not going to be the same amount of price. It's probably going to have come down a bit. And when I say when you come back, our digital Falcon got accepted into the Air Force this week.
Yay!
Hey, well done.
That's going to be another chapter of my life I'm looking forward to. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
Like all those years of gaming have led you up to this point.
Could you imagine me, like, oh, man. And speaking of that, I loved Ace Combat. I had Ace Combat 3, 4, 5. I skipped 6. Yeah.
Like I'm Prestige 6 in Call of Duty. I've got this. I'm good.
I've got tactical experience.
We'll make you a stud.
But it takes years of training to get, to be able to pilot a plane like that. So it's, I'm not even going in for that, at least, currently. But if I had the opportunity to, yes, I would love to be a pilot.
Oh, that's awesome. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, it's very exciting. Apart from the fact that he won't be available to stream for us on a regular basis because, he'll be doing real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that. But, yeah. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of the subjects that we wanted to discuss today. So unless you gentlemen had anything else that you were itching to bring up, we might wrap up.
Okay.
Good.
I don't know. Battlefield 5. What?
Oh, yeah. Over to you.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome. If it was it World War I or World War II?
They were
One.
talking World War I.
One. Okay.
And people are buzzing about it.
I'm already not going to buy the next Battlefield game, but if it's World War I, then yeah. I'm not a fan of that era, the weapons and stuff like that. I like the modern guns and stuff like that, so yeah.
I think that era is particularly neat from a storytelling, like a narrative perspective. And if guys were to do Battlefield in World War I, that would be really, really neat. But yeah, they do have that challenge of the weapons of the time and the tactics, and they don't really work as well as they do in the regular Battlefield games. But from a narrative point of view, there are some really, really great things that they would be able to do.
Yeah, but do we feel like we need a World War I Battlefield when we've got Battalion 1944, which is a World War II game about to land? Or do we think that these companies are starting to really finally listen to the feedback the gamers have been giving them for years, which is we want it to go back in time. We don't want our shooters continue to go into this futuristic bullshit. We want stuff that feels genuine and authentic. And so now slowly everybody's jumping on it.
True. Ubisoft went too far back with Primal, but I get your point.
I disagree. I disagree on that. I really like that, but I thought you were going to say Ubisoft went too far back with something like Assassin's Creed, and honestly, the most recent Assassin's Creed things have not been that appealing to me. But World War I is really, really interesting, and I understand that Digital is talking about the weapons and the tactics, and they're not that interesting. If you've got Netflix, there is a series on there that is from the BBC, and it's called Our World War, I think is what it's called. And it was fantastic. I don't remember if that's what it's called or not. I'll have to look it up. But if you're watching it and it's got the Prodigy playing in the intro, then you're watching the right one, because it's like real gritty and really, really well done.
I think it could definitely work.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, it can work. It's just it's just going to be boring as
That
hell.
it's something. I just hope it's something that they, if they're going to do it, that they don't half-ass it and they, actually go full bore into it and do it properly.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I mean, there just needs to, with games like that, there has to be fine attention to detail. Like the barrel has to be a perfect representation of the gun they're trying to replicate. The sounds, the movements, the reloading. Like it's a lot that goes into trying to replicate those old school guns. Whereas with the future, with games like Call of Duty that just seem to be taking nothing but a futuristic drive at the moment, they don't really have to pay that kind of attention because they're making up their own guns.
True.
Yeah,
Basically.
that's true.
No. Well, I definitely am interested in seeing more. I think the concept of a World War I shooter is not only interesting, but something that is needed because the community has been asking for it for a very long time now. So finally, well done, DICE, for listening to some feedback that you've been provided. We know you don't listen to much of it.
I mean, as long as we don't get
I will
saturated
check
with
it out.
World War I games.
Oh, we will. I mean, we got World War II, Battalion 1994. Now we've got DICE with Battlefield. I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of having one or two out there as an option to have a bit of variety. But it seems like when one company does something, every company does something, Like there just seems to be... There was a shift towards these, like, primal survival games for a while. The Ark Survival Evolved, Far Cry, like it seems like everybody sort of just moves and shifts in one direction. It's like, oh, everybody's interested in ancient stuff, we're going to go over there. It's like, no, everyone wants space travel, we're going over there. So it'd just be nice to see a bit of variety here and there without everybody feeling like they need to try and shift and capitalize on the attention that one particular company is getting in that genre.
True. Now, speaking of space, that's a game I'm looking forward to, Mass Effect. Is that...
Yeah.
Andromeda.
There we go. But there's been a lot of, I don't want to say turmoil, but it's like folks are leaving BioWare, and
Yeah, they're all going over to Destiny.
I'm concerned about Andromeda, to be honest. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ubisoft, I heard that they were sort of embattled in some sort of hostile takeover or something. They're trying to fend that off.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they're worried about being basically bought out by Vivendi, which is...
Are they an entertainment company or something?
Yeah, Vivendi does a lot of entertainment type stuff, and supposedly they owned a large chunk of something else and did absolutely nothing good for that company when they were involved with it.
I can see this happening more and more. The big movie studios sort of coming in and looking for that next hook.
This is true. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, we used to see more of a crossover from movies into video games, but these days we're now starting to see more of a cross from video games back over into movies. I mean, we've got the Assassin's Creed movie being made at the moment. There's a Call of Duty being made at the moment. So, yeah, the entertainment business, as far as movies and video games are going, like they're gelling a lot more than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really desperately concerned about them making a Call of Duty movie. I just don't see how it can be done and it actually represent the game outside of, like, I don't know, like what are we going to have? Just a general war movie, like a team of 6 people moving in, clearing buildings.
In first person. The whole movie shot in first person.
Maybe they'll release it on VR.
If they went back to what the original Call of Duty did, you could wind up with a pretty decent film. But, as for where it's gone now and the other different kinds of things that they've done that have been, really out there, would not work as well. I mean, because I think there's always a market for World War II games. I think there's always a market for World War II movies. And I think everybody's pretty much played out when it comes to all this future technology stuff now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
We must just about be due for the next announcement of what's next, too, from Activision, surely.
You would think so. I mean, they've already, like, we knew that Infinity Ward was doing this next cycle. That was a given. It was like 2.5 weeks ago they officially announced it. So I know maybe about mid-March I'm expecting. It's usually about that March to April mark that the first announcement of what the next Call of Duty is at least going to be about comes out. So, yeah, I mean, 2-3 weeks we might get some news.
Mm-hmm.
With any luck. I don't know. I'm losing my passion for that franchise, and I hate to say it because I'm a clan leader. I'm supposed to be the most passionate on my friends list about it. But
Well,
they
they haven't given you anything. They haven't given you anything to be passionate about.
No, and they haven't announced any clan participation whatsoever. Like, they're not even acknowledging that used to exist. That was a massive component of the game. And they've gone and added the ability for you to be able to view everybody's KD back into that. By removing that last year, they effectively took a lot of that bullshit banter out of the pre-lobbies where everyone was like, oh, check this KD out. You know, this guy's only got 0.7. Here's trash. Like, all that disappeared because people couldn't see each other's KDs. And it also got people playing the objectives again because they're like, well, nobody can see my KD, so it doesn't really matter if it drops a bit. I don't have to sit in this corner with my marshmallows and my hot cocoa. I'm actually going to run around the map because guess what? I got a pair of legs. But they've removed that now by putting the KD visual back in there, and people are getting back into the corners again. They're not playing the objectives. Instead of playing Team Deathmatch, which is effectively and lovingly being dubbed Team Camp Match, they're going over to games that are objective-based, like Domination, and they're sitting in goddamn corners and choke points for people to come in and try and play the objective. Why would you do that? Traya?
Well, I was under the impression that, you know, your KD, that, you know, it doesn't even matter when you're playing something that's objective-based. You know, like, I really like the...
you're an intelligent person.
What is the game mode where you escort the robot around?
Look,
I know.
as long as KD is there, as long as that is there on the screen somewhere, you're going to get that type of play. It will never go away.
It definitely matters.
Yep. That's why I stopped buying those games. I was just like, okay, cool. I'm good. Because all KD does is breed campers.
It really does. It's ruining the game. I don't know if all of you have seen my video entitled, Is Camping Killing Call of Duty?
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely believe that it is killing Call of Duty. There is a time and a place where a strategic placement of a sniper is necessary. That is a particular time and place. Not every single match. Drives me insane.
I was asking myself, like, oh, why they always put it in there? And then you got to realize if I don't want to bash the game. It's like, you know, the lowest common denominator, basically. You put a game where it requires actual skill, or let me not say actual skill. Let me say teamwork, true teamwork. It would turn a lot of people off. You know, it would. I don't think people would buy it in the numbers that they buy it in. So they keep it at a certain level. Anybody can get into it. You know, you could go on domination. You know, it's a team-based game, but you can just go in there and just shoot the shit out of everybody. And yeah, that's just...
I mean, no matter what game mode you go into, you are entering as a part of a 6-man team. A 6-man team! You're not going in there as an individual. People who play Call of Duty who think that it is acceptable for you to play as an individual entity, regardless of whether you don't have people in your party or you don't know the people you're playing with, you still need to work as a team. If you can see an objective being taken, then you stand guard or you get in there and help. If it's search and destroy, you make sure that if somebody's planting the bomb, you've got their back. You don't just sit back, let your team run in for the slaughter, and slowly pick off unsuspecting people who are coming in to also play the objective. It's weak as piss and annoys the shit out of me.
It's a legitimate strategy.
It is not a legitimate strategy, and if I ever catch you camping, you're out of the clan.
here's the thing. She hates that, but I hate that too. But it's like, hey, I can do it. Why not? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
that's the way the game is designed around. And when they test the game, they know they're making it like that. They know this, you know. So it's like, might as well. But yes, it is annoying that the modern games are where they are as far as, you know, camping and all that stuff.
And they design the maps to encourage it. They say that they don't. They say they design the maps to discourage it, but they encourage it because how often do you go into a game of Call of Duty and there isn't at least 50% of the people sitting in corners or sniping off in the distance, head glitching behind a box? They cater to those people because that is a massive market. A massive number of people that buy Call of Duty every year play like that.
Yeah.
You have to cater to them. You have to have that ability in there for them to be able to do that effectively and enjoy it whilst screwing over everybody else's enjoyment of the game.
They're not gonna do map design like that for a game like Call of Duty anymore. It won't. It will shut out too many people. You know.
Pardon me.
It just
I think
is.
that there should be this thing where if you are stationary for more than like 5 seconds, you automatically explode. Just see body parts flying all over the Call of Duty maps. And then people would be like, you know what, I'm going to get out of the habit of sitting in a corner because I know I'm going to explode. And then everybody would start running around and moving together as a tactical unit and playing the objectives. Oh my God, could you imagine it?
But then that would have the opposite effect. Everybody's running around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off.
Not running around like a bunch of chickens with your head cut off. Moving together as your team. Moving towards the objective.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, of course it's not going to happen because that would make sense.
It makes sense to you.
Yes, because I'm a competitive person and I like to play the objective. If you put an objective in front of me and there is going to either be a win or a loss at the end of that match, you bet your ass I'm going to make sure we win.
They need to bring back the old map level designs. Bring back choke points. Put weapons on the maps again. Stop with this loadout stuff. You know, let people fight for the weapons on the map. You know. But, yeah.
I think everyone's just craving for something fresh. Like, just give us something that feels like a new concept like that. And that's why games like Rainbow Six Siege are working, because it's fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really do have to work as a team. I mean, there's a degree of it where, because you can see where your team members are, you're not really having to move up as strategically as what you should have to be. You really shouldn't be able to see where your team members are through walls. But you do have to move together as a team to do that. One person can't lay back outside the building and snipe through the windows. Like, it's not going to work. You've got to get up. You've got to move. You've got to go together.
And that's another thing I cannot stand. Seeing teammates through walls. It discourages team play. Flat out. If I know where you are, right, I don't have to say anything to you. I just say, okay, he's there. He's going to have my back. Let me just run over here. Oops. I got my head blown up. You know, it discourages communication. And I'm not saying I will never buy a game that you can see teammates through walls, but I really wish they would take that out. I strongly wish they take that out. I'm tired of seeing that. I do not. If you want a team-based game, do not get a game that you can see teammates through walls.
Well, see, this is why you need to get on Insurgency. I think Insurgency will fit you beautifully. Yeah. And there was actually, I don't know whether it was an official announcement or whether it was just a rumor, but apparently Insurgency is meant to be coming to the Xbox One in roughly 2017. For anybody who doesn't know Insurgency, it is a very tactical-based first-person shooter where you don't have mini-maps, you don't have ammo counters, you can't see your teammates through walls. Like, you have to be 100% aware of your environment and communicating with your team to be successful. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was supposed to.
Because you have to move as a team. If you don't achieve the objective as a team, you barely get any points out of it. And everybody else will be getting all these points and upgrading their kit and getting better weapons. You won't be. So that is a game that actively discourages camping, and I love it.
There you go.
Just say no to camping, okay?
Camping has its place.
No, it doesn't. Get the fuck out of here with that.
It has its place. It has its place.
No, it doesn't. You just made me sweat. Okay,
Well,
so now that we've got that out of our system, is there anything else that anyone wanted to bring up before we wrap up today?
Nah, wrap it up.
nah.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. EXL has been a bit of the walking wounded this week. Half of our team is out sick, so I appreciate that you guys were
The
able to
other
make
half are
it.
sick and still here.
Yeah, you're sick and still here. Jay was here, but unfortunately he was feeling very unwell, so he needed to leave halfway through. So we hope that he starts to feel better soon. But we will be back at the end of next month.
Inverted commas.
Hey?
I'm sick in inverted commas.
Yeah, but you did that to yourself. That's why you're here. Like, that's your punishment.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Okay, well, everybody who joined the chat, everybody who listens in the future, to everybody who ends up giving us a thumbs down, we really appreciate you dropping around. It's been a ball. We'll be back next month with the Developers Workshop podcast with some very, very special guests. I can't reveal them just yet, but it is going to be a cracker. So until then...
Cracker.
What? Yeah, a cracker. It's going to be a cracker, like a firecracker. Oh my goodness, you Americans.
Major Nelson.
Don't start that.
Like cracker.
Yeah, we're going to have Major Nelson. We're going to make Flackfire host it.
I will excuse myself.
I might see Major Nelson next. Wait, when's the division come out?
March 8th, you're going to that event.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have
for Flackfire, if you have any questions you want me... Oh, go ahead.
Flackfire, you might as well do that off air.
if Flackfire, if you have any questions you want me to ask him, just give them to me and I'll ask them for you.
I have no questions. And my mom always said, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Correct.
I understand.
When are you retiring?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm bashing Major Nelson. He's a good dude.
Let's
And
end the
on
show.
that note, no. And on that note, we're out.